All right, round two. I talked all last week about fighting in a Thunderdome, and here we are, round number two. But I do trust you understand that was a picture to bring you in on what we've got to do for Jesus as well. So it's not an easy road. It's going to take a lot of practice and a lot of toughness and a lot of strength and fighting to get through this road as a Christian. Okay. So I trust everyone understood that. First thing I want to do, so I talked to the pastor and assistant pastor a little bit, and I kind of got a green light to do some Sunday school teaching. I don't know for how long, but just to keep rolling. So we won't try to get in a hurry, and we won't try to rush anything. We just take our time, find good places to spot, and start again next week. And I've been blessed. The Lord's helping me. I got a lot of things that I think that He might want to talk about. So y'all be in prayer for that. For me, that I can just do what the Lord had me do, and that the pastors of this church can make the right decisions and all that stuff. That said, bring up that verse. That's 1 Samuel 1:11. Already up there. So last week, the only reason I'm bringing this up, so of course I watched the live stream 2 or 3 times of myself. Not to be arrogant, but I've never done it before. For one, I wanted to watch myself and critique myself, or see what I might have done well or not well. And things like that. One thing I did pick up, I mentioned, I was going strictly off of memory when I was talking about Mother's Day, and I had mentioned one verse. I was talking about the joy it was to have children for a mother. And then I had mentioned about the lady in Samuel that had a child, and I had just misspoke to her and all that, said Samson. So I wanted to bring in the verse where I was remembering it from and clarify, so that was Samuel. So it was Samuel's mother prayed for the child, and the child was Samuel, not Samson. So it says, and she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man child, that I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come on his head. What Hannah, that's her name, was talking about, she wanted a child really bad, and I had brought into the light last week about how important and what a gift it is to have children. As a mother, and it was Mother's Day. So just to clarify, if anybody picked up on that, some people was pretty smart. It was not Samson, it was Samuel. I just misspoke. And that's where we'll just end that with that. But I appreciate all the kind words. I had a lot of kind words, and Jeff said some more this morning. And I do want to emphasize that I sure appreciate to the Lord what He's done, okay? A lot of kind words, and they're much appreciated, and people need that. I need strengthening too. I just want to make sure that God gets the glory on what He's done in my life. Because there was a whole lot of my life that you guys wouldn't have said kind words to me. So I'm not worthy for it. But the Lord has got different plans, and I sure am glad for that. I always like to start my prayers out with thanking the Lord, because He doesn't have to do anything that He does. So I'll start that out by thanking you people. And I wanted to bring up about thanks. This was not my outline. I just thought about it this morning. So yesterday, and a lot of you guys seen on my Facebook that I had killed me a turkey yesterday. And I love turkey hunting. I'm not kidding you. A whole lot, and it's pretty neat. And you got to make turkey sounds with a call, and you call these turkeys into you, and they gobble, just like you'd see in a cartoon or something, and you try to go after them and get them. And I just want to be quick here. So we talk about thanks, and I was at a certain spot yesterday, and in the turkey woods, and I was at a spot where I couldn't see him. I was down on the ground in a bush. Kind of wasn't even a tree. It was more like this big bush thing, and you got to stay camouflaged because turkeys can see real well. But anyway, so I'm in there and I'm calling. He's probably from here to the door, but I couldn't see him because it was like a knoll. Okay, like a hill. I was on one side of the knoll, it went up, and he was down on the other side. Well, he didn't want to come up to the top because he wasn't sure what he would see, and I didn't want to come up to the top because I know he would see me. So the only opportunity that I had to get him was if on this knoll, which I'm on this side, is if he would walk to the left or to the right. He had to come out to where he was on my same plane. And I said, now I don't know how much the Lord involves Himself in hunting, okay? But every time we go hunting with Jeremy and CT and all of us, we always pray, mostly for safety, but we pray for a buck, big buck. We pray for a turkey. Now I don't know how much importance the Lord finds in that. Probably none at all. But I I did say, Lord, this is the time to get this turkey. I had been working on him for an hour. And I said, the only way I can get him from where I'm sitting is if he walks to the left here. He is right to my left. And so I said, Lord, here's the time. If you let him come around this corner, I can get him. And I'm not saying the Lord answered that prayer, but that's what happened. That turkey come right the way that I want him. Our gun was already in that same direction. Boom, we got a turkey. Okay, that's good. And immediately, so I'm excited and I'm thrilled. So I had just said, Lord, if you bring this turkey around the side of me, I sure would appreciate this being time to get it. Boom, I got it. And for the next half hour, I'm taking pictures, getting everything ready, getting my stuff back together, putting up, and walking out of the woods just thinking about how I got the turkey. I didn't stop to thank him for that turkey. See, now I'm not saying that he actually answered that prayer. The prayer was answered, but I'm not saying the Lord said to that turkey going around the side because he prayed about it. But what I am saying, even in talking to the Lord about anything, if something would happen or come to pass, good or bad in our situations, that's why we've been talking about trust. Because you're going to have to trust in bad times too. But this situation worked out for me, but I didn't catch myself until walking. I had a long way to walk back to the truck, and halfway back, I thought to myself, I didn't thank the Lord for this turkey. As silly as that sounds, I stopped and said, Lord, I do appreciate what you've done for me and this world that you give me to be able to enjoy it. That's my things. I enjoy hunting. He gave it all to us. The whole aspect of that hunt yesterday and that turkey was because he allowed me to do it. Now, I believe that. So I wanted to make sure that we understand in all things we should give thanks. And I did for that. So we talked about, we left off at the Thunderdome and we talked about practicing and we reverted that to trust, and that we was going to have to practice some things in order to become strong in trust, or to become good in trust, right? To be able to use it in the good times or bad, and we want to get to be able to use that trust as second nature. And I'll get into talking that a little bit. But we left off there that you're going to have to fight in this world, your life. Okay, so your life in this world, that is your Thunderdome. And there's going to be good times and bad times, and there's going to be times when you're in a place like now when you're going to practice and learn some things to help you through that. That's where we left off. And given that, my whole outlook for a Sunday school is that it's a school. It is to teach you something. Not that I am any teacher by any means. I'm blessed to be in this position, but I feel a lot of times, even myself, in the past, I didn't come to Sunday school a whole lot. Now, I understand with young children and stuff, it is very difficult sometimes to make and things like that, and they're not here, the ones I'm talking to now. But I do know that life gets very busy, and it is hard to make and do stuff like that. With kids trying to get them ready and fed and whatnot. But a lot of people that I feel, because I probably felt this my same way, but why go to Sunday school just to get preached at, because I'm going to get preached at again anyway at 11. And in a way, that's a valid point. In a way, Sunday school should be, to me, different than the worship service or what the pastor brings. Now, we are privileged to have a pastor that teaches us while he preaches. A lot of them don't do that. And that's the truth. We almost get taught twice, not preached at twice. But a lot of times, a preacher's going to preach on certain things and drill you on that and make you feel real bad and then you leave, But our pastor, we're privileged to have, that teaches us through those, and he's got a long history of education. So, but anyway, that's my goal. I want to try to give something during my time in Sunday school, however long it may be. I want to get something where you can actually interact and think a little bit, maybe through my circumstances or somebody else's, and try to learn a little bit to help. Okay, and I might throughout the weeks, I might ask. This week, and not specifically or a person, unless I feel comfortable with them, so I don't want you to think that you're going to be asked to do schoolwork. But I might say, hey, what happened today? Somebody tell me something happened last week where I had to do, you had to practice trust. Good or bad. So, and that's the way I want to go with that. So, be aware for that, and I'll ask ahead of time, you know what I'm saying? And if you want to help me out, that's fine. But learning stuff and learning about the Bible is one of the best things I ever started doing. And I didn't start doing it, but just a few years ago, I started reading my Bible, and that was a big deal to me. I couldn't believe how much help I got out of reading the Bible. And if you don't, I'm telling you, if you just try to take a little bit of time out, man, you'll really learn some stuff. It's unbelievable how the Holy Spirit works in the Scripture. All right, so having said all that, I'm going to pray and we'll get into not a stranger to bad times, okay? We talked about practicing to get through the tough times, and I'm going to tell you about the times that I had to practice it and made it through, and some of them that I'm still going through. And you guys might be able to apply it to your life. Let's pray. Lord, I thank you and praise you again for another opportunity to talk to your people. And I sure hope you help me, and the things I say be what you have me say. I sure do appreciate all the help and support. I pray that this will be a blessing to someone like it was me. I so humble and unworthy. I thank you. Amen. The verse I'm going to get into will be Psalms 112:7. We'll talk about some things and then we'll read that verse. So don't put it up there yet if you're going to. If you're going to put it up there, don't put it up there yet. So we talked about no stranger of bad times. And I'm going to give you some things. And some things, especially when I testify, a lot of people have a testimony of, they like to get up and tell you all the bad things that they've done. And they like to tell you how the Lord brought them out of that. And that's fine to do that, by all means. And it's a very powerful testimony to be able to do that. You know, when McClanahan, when he first got saved, he used to tell us all the time about what happened, where he come from, what he did in detail. And a lot of people were helped by that. There's a lot of people in this world that don't come to church that needed someone that come from where they come from, or where they're at right now, I should say, to be able to say there is light on the other end of the tunnel. And that's okay. I'm going to tell you some things about myself that normally I wouldn't tell, or that I don't tell when I testify. There's a lot I'm not going to tell you, but my main reason was I never wanted to bring a bad light on my name, Kiriluk's name, which comes from my dad, and that's the truth. The way he raised us was not to act like some of the things that, that I don't talk about, only because I don't want people to, even though it's a good story because the outcome turned out all right, I don't want anybody to ever think that was my dad's fault or his plan, because it was not. Okay, so that's why my testimony is I'm just thankful to be where I'm at. God, the Lord knows, and my dad did an outstanding job. The first thing, it was no stranger to bad times, and when I was living wild and crazy or whatnot, and this would stem from a time maybe 18 years old, maybe 27, something like that, when you couldn't tell much of a difference, right? When I didn't really have to rely or trust a whole lot in the Lord. I did pray every evening, and I felt like I was saved, but I was so far gone that, I don't know if, you definitely couldn't have told the difference, and I don't know if the Lord was definitely helping me by keeping me alive and surviving, that's for sure. But anyway, when all that was going on, not a lot of bad things happened. I didn't grow up with a lot of bad things. There wasn't a lot of deaths early in my family. The first grandpa died when I was, I think, 21, 22 in Japan. I was in Japan in the military. That was the first time. Well, by that time, I was a little hardened up. It wasn't that big of a deal. I did cry a little bit, but he lived to be pretty old, and he died. That was fine, really. And throughout all that time, I didn't have a lot of bad things happen until I started to try to change my life around. And this, in some ways, now I don't think for Sunday school, but I think for some lost people, I think that it could be discouraging to hear someone say, well, your life was fine, and then when you got saved, or when you got right, or when you started to read, or when you said, Lord, do with me whatever you will, and the devil got mad, the bad things started happening, well, they could think, that's not a good idea, right? Why would I want to get into something like that when it's going to get worse? And it don't always. And let me say that there's a whole lot better that happens than what happened worse. You know what I'm saying? So there is some bad things that happen, but there's 100 good that happened on top of that for someone who would think that way. And I'm going to give the good after the bad. But one of them was when I started getting right. So my first son, Uno, Isaiah, but we call him Uno. That's his name. When I had Uno, I wasn't married. And that happens all the time. Now it's not a big deal, and in the second world it's not a big deal, but there again, that ain't the way I was raised. I talked a little bit about my dad being a tough dude. Well, somebody had to break the news to my family, and this was not a good thing for me at all. I was scared. If you think me crying around last Sunday about being scared to preach, I was scared a whole lot more than that. about telling my dad that my girlfriend, which had been for a while, maybe should have already been married, I don't know, we had dated for a long, long time, but was pregnant. And she ain't about to lose this baby, you know, or like give it up or whatever bullshit. We's happy, you know. And I got the call. I was in the Dish Network vehicle. I used to work for Dish Network a long time before Pastor Kenny prayed that I get fired. And that happened, and we might get into that later. But anyway, yeah, that happened. So, but anyway, I was in the Dish Network van, and I drove everywhere. I got a phone call. She called and said she was pregnant, and I was like, this is not good. That was the words that come out of my mouth. I do apologize. I'm also not very good with emotion. My wife will tell you that too. And I'm working on that. But I said, this is not good. This is a bad thing. We cannot have no child, right? I am not mentally or financially or anything else stable to be having no children. Not to mention, my dad's gonna kill me. It doesn't matter if I'm ready because I'll be dead anyway. And I know it's funny, but I was scared of my dad because I know the way I was raised. I know the expectations he had in our life. And one of the things that we strive to do, my brother still does today. My brother just graduated from state yesterday after his degree there, and it seems like he's been in school for 13 years in college, which he has been, but some of it wasn't credited in this and that and anything. But anyway, this would have been a big deal to my dad. He would have been very proud, and I told my brother that more than once yesterday. So I would say that I was afraid because my dad wouldn't be proud. I didn't want to tell him because I thought he might thought I done messed up too bad. You know, this ain't wrecking a vehicle. This ain't assassinating your mama or something. This is, this is a big deal. And I was afraid what to say or how to say it. And I was afraid he was going to be mad and disappointed. Now, I never wanted to be disappointed ever in my life. And I was so happy the good things that's happened in my life, you know, graduating and making through boot camp and stuff, and at my wedding, and I was happy to see my dad. You know, when he's happy about things like that, because I wanted him to be proud. That was a bad time in my life, having to tell him that my girlfriend was pregnant. You know, and to some people, it might not be no big deal. Well, whatever. We have kids out of wedlock all the time. But to me, that was a big deal, and that was a bad time in my life for me. Spiritually and everything. And another one, and everybody knows this too, but it's written down and it has to be said, you know, was the death of my dad. That is another bad time that I had in my life after things started getting right. If I dig too deep in it, we'd just be a mess. So, you know, that was a terrible time. I was not ready. He died on Uno's birthday. And 3 days after my birthday, of course, we knew that it was coming, but that makes it no easier to try to celebrate your son's birthday party when you're best dead. And I feel like he died a tad bit too early for me. And of course, I needed him still. But the Lord, I got to trust him. That's the whole outline of my few weeks here, is that we got to trust him. And that was a bad time to me. And another bad time was my wife was not saved. Was not saved for a long time, her whole life. She had a nana, they call them, which is nothing but a grandma to me. But she had a grandma that would sometimes take her to church, and I don't even know what religion or why. I have no idea. She had a grandma that would take her every now and then or something, and she thought she might have been saved, but she feels like it's just somebody saying that she wasn't. So that was a bad time, and I remember, man, when I started trying to get right, I used to say to the Lord, I said, how in the world am I going to get through this? How are we ever going to get back to church? I was raised in it, so I knew what I needed to do and what was right. So I thought there was no hope, no way she'd be saved, no way we'd get to going to church. And you tell me it's an answer to prayer. Out of nowhere, she wanted a Bible. And I bought her a Bible, and I gave her a Bible. And I wasn't going to church at this time. That's before we came. We come the next Wednesday. I read it last time, in 2011. We came the next Wednesday afterward. But I got her that Bible. She just started reading random stuff. I didn't tell her where to start reading, and I wasn't that smart either. I didn't know where to tell her. I knew not to say Revelation, you know, but, and Genesis wouldn't really do a whole lot of good, you know, but so somewhere in between there is probably a pretty good point. You know what I mean? You know, 3rd John and Exodus, find something good in between there. Anyway, she started reading, man. She started reading stuff that was helpful, man. And next thing you know, I come home from Dish Network again. She said, I think I need to be saved again. She didn't really understand there is no again, but that's not, who cares about that? You know, Ben and Brian, y'all got saved 100 times. You know, y'all pretty much preacher's kids. I mean, you know, oh well, however many times it takes, let's get it right, you know. Of course, Jim, you probably told them, you know, cut that out. But anyway, you're saved, you know. And you're saved, brother. Don't hang in there. You know, you're in the back row, but that's not a big deal. Okay? But, my mouth is real dry. Okay, so she wasn't saved. She got in that Bible. She said, I think I need to be saved again. And now, if that happened to me today, I could say, boom, let's get the Bible right now. But, you know, I talked about how the town is my friends. I like my family, and that's the truth. And I like to involve them in just about every good thing that happens in my life. That's just me. So, of course, I called Pastor Kenny, right? I said, we can do it. I told her, I said, we can do it tonight. And I'm trying to press on. I'm just going to tell you about no strange and bad times, and the good's coming. These are all bad, but, you know, and she said, I want to be saved, and I said, I think we can do it right now. So I called Pastor Kenny right then, and he never answers his phone, but he answered it that night. And it was in the middle of the night. And I had talked to him, and he said okay, and him and I had talked about it on the phone, and she got saved right there that night. Okay? And I used to always think, you know, this ain't never going to happen. I'm serious. I thought it'll never happen. It's impossible, I thought. Especially with me running the household, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't get nothing done when it comes to that. The Lord had different plans for that. Okay, so I learned there that I can trust Him in that. When I seen no way, He had a way already planned. The only thing that made me through Dad's dying was that I could trust the Lord, that He's in heaven. And that's the truth. And I don't know how, if we have lost children and lost loved ones, you know, when they die, there's no peace about it. And I can remember sitting there, saw my dad there when he was dead, laying there dead. The Reverend showed up there, of course, and we was all pretty tough about it, you know. And he had prayed, you know, Pastor Kenny, he said, you know, surely the strength, you know, of God Himself and their upbringing and their military backgrounds keeping us through this stuff. And that's the truth. The Lord was bringing us through. You know, that was a devastating time, but for some reason you could feel peace about it. And I can't explain it. I can't tell you that things is talking to me and touching me and I feel filled with the Holy Ghost. I'm not saying none of that, but I am saying that I was happy. I wasn't happy, but I could get through my dad being dead at an early age when I needed him the most, and he was my best friend. And the Lord gave us peace about it, and He's in heaven, and I trust the Lord that He is ahead. And I trust that I am saved. And I trust that He was saved. And I trust that when I get there, He'll be there. Amen. That's what got me through that bad time. I failed to mention, I was scared to tell my dad out of wedlock, I failed to mention the good that happened out of that time when I called him. And I was crying. And I told you last week I didn't used to cry at all. And now I cry all the time when I talk about Jesus. And that's all right with me. My dad knew I was pretty, you know, we've had some private conversations, me and him, about stuff, and, you know, trying to be strong and stuff. And I was crying when I talked to him. And I told him what was going on, and I was afraid of what he was going to say. And I tell you, he wasn't mad at all. I said, I was afraid you would be proud of me. You know, I can remember it like it was yesterday. And he said, I'm so proud of you, more than you know, or ever know. My dad understands he had a child out of wedlock when he was young. My dad understands divorce. My dad understands all this. He wasn't raised like I was raised. And I sure want to thank him for his guidance. And I needed to trust the Lord through that circumstance. And it turned out all right. My dad was still proud, so proud. And then he said, when you get married. Yeah. That's what he said. So he was not done being a father, but he knew how important he was to me and the way I felt. And he wanted to encourage me to understand that I could rely and trust in him, because me and him both rely and trust in him. Okay. Then I talked about a little bit about getting fired from Dish Network. And I had this Dish Network thing locked down. I was not just an employee that showed up and left. I did very well in it, and I excelled. They actually have, you work up levels, I guess you could call it, in this Dish Network thing, and you can get paid more money. And believe it or not, them installers can make some good money. Real decent money. People wouldn't believe you make it like that. Now you got to work a lot of hours and stuff, but everything was working out fine. I was making plenty of money, and I had moved up to management, which I don't know if that was the best thing to do, because the money becomes salary then. It's not hourly. So all them hours you work, you're just getting paid a salary job. So anybody needs any guidance on that later on, call me, and I will try to help you if you want to be a boss. Because sometimes it don't work out like what you think it's going to work out. But in any case, they sent me all over the place. They sent me to New York and Baltimore and down south some places to help train and teach people how to do things. I did pretty well. And then out of the blue, I get fired. Now, I might have did something wrong. Like they did have a reason. Long story short, I got on the roof without having protection on, like a fall harness and all that. But we did it all the time, and that's the way it happened. And it was a rule, but nobody enforced it. Well, all of a sudden, I am the first guy, and I worked there for 5 years, to be enforced on this fall protection rule, and they fired me. And then we found out the reason they fired me was because Pastor Kenny prayed that I would get fired because I worked on Sunday. And he wanted me to come to church, the way he thought I'd come to church if I didn't have a job. Because that's the only place you get any help, right? And if I'd known how it all worked out, I would just stay without a job. Hopefully we'd have had a couple love offerings every now and then. Well, that seems to work out. Hey, I'll tell him when he gets here, because his order, that thing was last year, because his order going through a bad time, so we gave him $5,000. I don't think it was quite that much, but if y'all remember, he was standing over here like this. Him and his family crowding around carrying on. He was going through a tough time, but he was quitting, and it was over with, and he's running down and CT's over here gouging that fire, how CT does. It's terrible. Life's coming to an end, and we're hurting, and his family's dead, and all this stuff, and we're all like, oh, this is terrible. And then the next thing you know, he's got thousands of dollars in his pocket. If I'd have known, we could have got away with that. I would have trusted the Lord when I got fired that everything would have worked out all right. And I could have had CT. I said, I'll give you 5 to 10% of whatever I get. Get up there and tell them how bad my life is. Y'all know I'm joking about all that. Okay? It's a man of God. Man of God, all of them are. All right. And it says don't talk about the man of God, but listen. But I should have trusted the Lord, because and here's the solid truth about it. It wasn't, man. It wasn't. It was. I want to say 23, maybe 20 days or something, and I had a brand new job working for CSX Railroad, which I still have today. Way better job, man. I'm not bragging, but way better job. Actually, the money starting out was a little bit less for CSX than what you make as a dish network. But everything has worked out, man. And the Lord, I sure thank Him. Yeah. Like I told you, He is my friend. Yeah. He is all of us friend. He's our dad. Yeah. He's our Savior. I can go all day. And in that circumstance, man, He was my finance manager. We got to trust Him. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got fired, you know what I mean? I'm telling you my story because you got stories just like it. You got times you don't trust or even think about it. I'm not poking at you. I'm saying because I done it. I'm just as guilty. I'm trying to look everybody in the eye. There is going to be times when you is going to have to practice your trust, and it ain't going to be there.
You're right. You're right.
There's going to be times when you don't even think that the Lord will get you through those times. You don't even involve Him in them. That's the truth. I don't. And time after time again, He's come through for me. And does that mean you can live like Him and expect to get all the blessings? I doubt it. You know what I mean? I am no scholar by no means at this point in my life, but I doubt you can live like Him and think that the Lord is going to work all your situations out good for you. They'll work out good for Him. All things work together for the good. It's them to serve the Lord. Okay, so I want you, and then I got this new job, and now we're at a high in this presentation. Still a little time. I'm at a high in this presentation, right? Man, everything's good. Got a great job. Just talk about how everything's working out, and you can serve the Lord, or at least let your heart serve. You know what I mean? You ain't got to be a preacher to get blessings.
Right. Amen.
Some of it ain't your thing. You can just come and warm a pew if that's what the Lord wants you to do, because He might work in you how you treat someone else. Maybe your job sitting in the pew is to be the one that person that slides in next to you say, hey, how are you? It's good to have you here. What you want to know? You don't know what the Lord can do. We don't know. His mind is not our mind. I can't remember where the scripture is, but it tells us that. Our thoughts are not His thoughts. Well, so I got this new job, and it was just a much better job. Here we're going through another bad time. Guess what? I got to travel. And most of you guys know it, so now I've been here all the time now on Sundays, because it got me a new job. Working with the same company, same job. I don't want to go into all that, but it's just a different position where you ain't got to travel. Same dude, just don't have to travel. Well, I had to travel, and I traveled for 4 years or something. Y'all remember? Because I'd be here one week, be gone next week, be here one week. Some days, and this is no joke, I'd work 20-some days straight gone from my family. I never felt homesick, ever. I used to go to Boy Scout camp for a week at times. We used to go everywhere with the school and the church and stay, and I never was homesick. We used to stay at a friend's house for days. I'm serious, days. As long as Mom and Dad knew we was all right, they was probably partying down. You know what I mean? No, as long as you're fine at the time, we're good. But we used to do that days on that. Never got homesick. I'm trying to think of some other boot camp. Never got homesick. Now there were some tough times, but I never got homesick. I didn't even know what homesick was. Oh, but the first time I went to Atlanta, Georgia, that's where they trained me to be a railroader. I had to go down there for 2 weeks, and I can't remember if that was May 2011. Okay, so yeah, both boys was born. That's the first time being gone from them boys. And I'm telling you what, man, I got in that hotel room and they had messed my room up, or something was wrong with it. And I went and told the front desk, and they put me in a new room, which was, instead of putting me in a new room, they just said, we'll upgrade you to this suite that had 2 rooms. I had a couch and a bed and all this nice stuff. And I didn't care at all. I walked in there, man, something's wrong with me. It's what I felt. And if you've ever felt homesick, I guess you know I never felt it. And I felt sick, honestly sick. I said, something's wrong. I don't know what I'm going to do. This is terrible. Why am I here? This ain't right. I don't want this job. I don't want none a part of it. And I called out and I said, I don't feel, something ain't feeling right with me. I don't know. You know, I hate to act like I'm all wimpy or something, but I was like, something ain't right. You know, and I was missing my family. Missing my boys, you know. And to be honest, you know, after a while, you callous up on that. Just because you have to. If you're going to work a traveling job, you've got to learn to work them blisters into some tough spots. Yeah. And I did. I never gave up on it. But at that time, there was no trust in the Lord that I was going to have this nice job working right here in Barbersville, teaching Sunday school, being able to come anytime I want to. At that time, they won't. But look now, I'm here all the time, if I can be. And you know, there is sometimes you get called out to work, but this is good. I'm at home every night. Sometimes I don't get home till late, but I'm at home, you know. And them boys know I'm at home, and Uno loves it, and I love it. Yes. So I got to trust the Lord, you know, that He gonna work all that out, and He did. Yeah. It's well worked out. And everybody, let me tell you something else. I just now thought about this, and I'm going on. But I just got one more, and then we'll get to prayer. I know that's Larry's saying this. He's leading this prayer thing. That's a whole nother lesson I probably teach on. But man, I appreciate you, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, you've got to work for the Lord. Okay, in whatever way that you're supposed to. And Larry's got to be able to trust during this prayer thing. And he's helping us. We've been eating and stuff and doing all kinds of stuff. He's trying to get these men together. Unity is going to be another lesson I teach them anyway. I just want to stop saying, man, that hit me just now. Fine job. But, so I had that traveling job, and he took me away from that traveling job. And when I did that, a lot of the other guys you travel with, you get paid per diem. You get paid all this extra money, to be traveling, which is good now. And everybody, man, I can't tell you how many people was like, man, it ain't going to be no good. You're going to go there, and you don't get paid that per diem, and you do this and that, and you ain't going to get enough calls for overtime to make up the money. And I'm telling you what, almost everybody did their best to get me not to go take that new job. And I don't like to tell all them about it, because maybe one day they'll try to take my job, but I do better now than I done any time on that road. And that is all the Lord. And I thank Him every day for that. I sure do. There's a time that I hardly could feel I couldn't trust Him at all, because I was away from my family. And then I was scared to take the job home. And actually, to be honest with you, not bragging, but I practiced a little trust in that position. Everybody that told me, so now you can see I'm getting stronger and stronger as these things go by. Maybe that's why the Lord puts all these crazy things in my life, to be able to strengthen me to help somebody else. But I said, Lord, I'm going to trust you. It's got to be your plan to go home with these children. It's got to be your plan. And I called CT, and I called Jerry, and both of them was like, well, this is a no-brainer. You need to go home. That's right. Yeah. And I went home, and the Lord, thank you again, has took care of that situation, because trusting is real. Yeah. And if you can honestly trust, and I told them boys, y'all young boys last week, I said, man, if you can get on to this trust thing early, and I repeat it, because it's the truth. And I'm still getting on it. Now I'm 33. Well, man, if you can get on it to where when something bad happens, you'd be like, I ain't worried about that. It's not a big deal. Been through that before. Talked about Chucky's cancer. Now, bad stuff is going to happen. Don't worry about it. Lord will take care of it. If He ain't, then quit the whole thing. Right. I tell myself that. If I can't trust Him in my bad times, then I might as well forget being saved. I might as well forget trusting He's a heaven. Trust and faith is a lot of the same words, getting into definitions, which we will later. They are different, but there's a lot of the same. If you can't trust Him that He saved you through faith, then you ain't saved. There's no point. So when the bad things happen, don't worry about it. Get it off your shoulder. That's right. It's part of it. Hallelujah. So another thing that happened to me, and I'm going to finish with this, and I'll read some scripture now. I don't think this is all just me talking. We got some scripture to help you too, It's Sunday school, if you will. Another thing that I haven't made it through yet. And I'm still dealing with that indeed. But I know the Lord has got it all under control. And the Lord's got this all under control too, but I can't see yet what He's got planned out for my youngest son, Isaac. Okay? My youngest son, Isaac, is autistic, is what they call it. Some people say they can't tell. He looks fine to me, but he's not fine. It's not normal, I guess, for his age, I guess you could say. And he's doing better every day. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, like I do in my prayer. There's all the time getting better, and that's the truth. He is such a joy. I nicknamed him PJ. He doesn't go by that name. It takes him a while to catch on to things like it does other kids. PJ means pride and joy. What I call him, young son. And when we first found out, I was working for Dish Network, and I got the phone call. He had this whatever month checkup. They said he might be autistic. I said, there's no way. Nobody in my family ever had no disabilities in her family, and I'm never even around anybody with disabilities. Oh, but it happened. And that was what happened. And he is different, and it's tough. And now she just started coming back to church. Jesus, look, I want him to know that I'm glad. Not just by myself, but I'm glad in front of everybody. She come to the church now, and it ain't easy, and you'll see me get up and take him and stuff into the back, because we understand when there's a time he'll quit crying and when a time that he won't. And this ain't no woman, no kid. Just bear with us in this. I have no problem punishing my children, I should say. Uno gets enough whooping for both of them boys. But I'm strange. I'm just saying. I know what I'm doing. We try to be strong with our children, and there is a line between abusing your kids and punishing your kids. There is a line. That's another lesson. But with Isaac, you just can't treat him the same. And I don't know why this happened to me. I don't know why we got to deal with this circumstance with him. But I do know, from the time I was scared telling my dad about being born out of wedlock, and I do know that when he died, and I do know that when my wife wasn't safe, and I do know about getting fired from a job, and I do know about traveling to another job and being gone from your children, and I know about all these different things that the Lord has helped me through. I know about what it is to be scared and feel unworthy to teach any kind of Sunday school, and it turned out pretty good. That's what I heard. That's what people tell me. So I know what it is to trust the Lord. Some things you trust Him with ain't going to happen overnight. There is a reason this bad stuff is in my life, and there is a reason that I can rejoice over getting through it. With Isaac, we ain't through it yet. I don't know when, I don't know why, and I don't know how he might stay like it. I don't know. Well, I don't care. You understand? Sometimes Ina tells me things about stuff he does, she reads, and she's very good at it. She studies and picks up all this stuff about how to help him and stuff like this. And I'm bad emotionally with all this stuff. And being emotional to a woman, I'm not good at it. And I'm trying to get better, and she just thinks I'm mean, I guess. I don't know, or don't care. But anyway, I almost sometimes don't get too excited about when good things happen, because it's like I've already known it's going to happen. You understand what I mean? It's not that I'm not excited, but I've built my trust up so strong in the Lord that I expect Him to help me. I expect good things to happen with my child, and when they say that He's He, if they weep. Suppose I still pray for that old boy down. I will be glad about it. And I'll say, thank you, Lord, I knew you had it in you. Like you had it in you for everybody else that's come before me. And the stories that I've had that you've come through with me. Now, start the verse we're going to read. You can put it up there if you want to. 1:12:7. We'll have to do better to get in this prayer. We'll have some time, but I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better at it. I'm serious. I'm serious. It's important to pray. Okay? It says, 1:12:7 says, and think about all I just said. It says, he shall not be afraid of evil tidings, but his heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. We shall not be afraid of evil tidings. We shall not be afraid of bad things that's going to happen. Them is evil tidings. Death and sickness and jobs and money and church life and relationships and everything. Bad things happen. That's an evil tiding, if you will. And we can't be afraid to those times. If you're taking anything from this Sunday school, is to teach you that you can't be afraid, because there's other people outside of you that have made it through these times. The Bible says his heart is fixed. Let me bring open this real quick. Definition of fixed. This helped me right here now. Fixed. Fastened securely in position is the number one definition for fixed. Predetermined and not subject to or able to be changed. Predetermined means that before you even get to the spot to where it comes to make a decision about being fixed, you're already being fixed. You're already fixed. Okay, the situation is not going to change. You understand that when you get into those tough times, your heart is already fixed into the Lord. Your heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. That's where we need to get. It ain't easy to get there. It's easy in the good times to trust Him. Man, I've been fixed all week. That's a wonderful week. You know what I mean? I've been fixed. My heart is fixed in the Lord. Then something bad happens and you crumble down to pieces. Yeah. Just like old Kiriluk has, many a times. So I'm not no better than anybody else. I'm just telling you, please don't wait like I did to get in these bad times before you start learning how to get out of them. Figure out how to get out of them now in Sunday school. That way when they show up, I ain't worried about it. Been there before. Someone else has too, and I'll call them, and they'll help me. Right? Somebody else has been through it already. That verse says, he should not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. Do not forget it. You should write it down. It has helped me tremendously.
Amen.
Fixed means fastened securely into position. Your heart is not going to move from trusting from the Lord because something bad happens and tries to knock you off. It is a predetermined and not subject or able to change. I cannot be a person who does not trust in the Lord because my heart is fixed on trusting the Lord. My job is not to hoop and holler. Pastor Kenny will do that later. I want you to put it in your mind to understand that my heart is set on the goal, and the goal this week and next week and until this lesson is over is to trust the Lord. We are soft, me included.
Go ahead.
Do you think the Pilgrims on the Mayflower had a problem with being soft? If they did, they would all be dead, not just half of them. You know, I understand half of them died actually. And I understand sickness is what got them, but I'm telling you, they would have never made it. They would have never made the journey. That's right, they would have killed the other half. Y'all get where I'm getting at. Now, I try to have a good time, but I want you to understand. That I'll tell you what, one more and we'll be done. What Matthew Henry says. If Kiriluk's word is not good enough for you, maybe somebody who, back in the day, I can't remember his, I just looked him up a little bit, but this is Matthew Henry Bible, and he does some defining of some scripture and stuff. And there's other good ones out there. I'm just going to read because that's what I've got in front of me. It says, a good man shall have a settled spirit, for he shall not be afraid. His heart is established. That is their endeavor to keep their mind stayed upon God, to keep them calm in those bad times, right? To keep them calm. I like what he said there. And he said, God has promised them both cause to do so and grace to do so. The fixedness of the heart is a sovereign remedy against the disquieting fear of evil tidings. And what he's saying is that the fixedness, your heart being fixed, is sovereign remedy. Sovereign, the Lord's this ultimate power. He's got it all worked out. That don't mean what you think they should work out. But the Lord, everything, He's going to have everything worked out for Him. And we've got to understand that through those times that we're going to trust. We're going to keep our heart fixed to the sovereign will of God. Whatever He has, we still going to trust. And that don't mean, when I tell you to trust because my heart's fixed, that don't mean because I think they're going to turn out the way I want it to. I want Isaac to be healed. Might not ever happen. But that don't mean I give up. That don't mean I quit trusting. That don't mean no longer I'm fixed. Right? And trusting in the Lord. And he said, boy, I like it. This is I like it a whole lot. Trusting in the Lord is the best and surest way of fixing and establishing the heart. Get a hold of this trust thing like I've been talking about, you young men. And some of you older folks or people my age or whatever, it is not too late to get a hold of something that you can rely on other than what's in this physical world. That's our lesson for today. I guess we'll men's prayer. We have men's prayer every morning. We try to do it 15 till or something like that. And that's another thing. And that I've got other lessons planned with unity and stuff. But if you're a man that likes to pray, the prayer room is where you go. This is not a prayer room just for not deacons because we ain't even got to them. I don't know what you say. What do you call it? For the people that are actively always doing something in the church. That's not the place for the prayer room. Prayer room is for any man that likes to pray with another man, for the Lord. And that's where we'll be. So thanks.
We'll call